Decepticons, it's me, Starscream 760. Alright, you haven't heard from me in a while. Bandicam isn't working. I know. It sucks. It's shit. I'm aware. I'm also aware that, yeah, yesterday Warship Craft came up with an update. Wonderful. So, to follow up after an eternity of not, I don't know, being on, question mark, I don't know. I've still been playing War Thunder, though, yeah. And so that's a plus part. So I can go into battle with spaded stuff and wreck some people. So that's a plus. So what I'm going to be doing, actually, is I'm going to be creating a video that is actually like a review. So, Giant Song Park, a couple of things. One, thank you for actually adding an update after an eternity. Secondly, I cannot thank you on the part that it is 2 guns. While I can thank you, I can't thank you at the same time. I'll explain why later on when I have a gameplay section and a review section as well. If you really, really want to add something, you have to add the jets, and you have to add a couple of other things. That's just my feedback. If it's your problem, if you can't do it, that's your problem. I can't program. I can just do amateur like a wikia. Which reminds me, I've got to get to work on that thing a little bit now. But the bottom line is you have to work on some stuff. I have a list that I made on my own, out of my own head, and amongst those things is you need, if you can't add jets, that's fine. Just take the time to actually create them and make them detailed like Naval Craft or Competitor. But at the same token, you have to add the jets. But if you don't want to do some of those things, I have an idea for a couple of prop-driven engines into aircraft, and I have a couple of ideas for a couple of other missions. You've got to add some missions. 8,000, well, it's good. It takes an eternity, which is why people are getting sick of just grinding on the night battle with just the Yamato. So why not a night battle level 5 as well, with something like, say, 10,000 gold. But anyways, I have an idea, well, a couple of ideas that might help you out. Take some advice from this, and I sincerely hope that you put some of the advice that I gave you to really good use. Thank you, and I thank my subscribers for being very patient. Alright, Decepticons. Alright, here we go. This is the... Well, yeah, as you can see, though, I actually have made major changes in my fleet. Valhalla is no longer part of it. I've replaced it instead with the Cyclosis, which is a lot more powerful. And I found out that at a certain area, actually, as a matter of fact, once you get to a certain length, like see how this is 670 meters, once you get to a certain length to a ship, it'll actually not show up, which makes editing the ship 10 times as difficult. So that is why I opted to delete Valhalla, because one, there was no way I could have completed her in the state she was in with all the slabs that I used. And secondly, Cyclosis is more compact and a lot faster. Alright, so let's just do a free design, right? And so here I am. Alright, so let's just do something. I was already fiddling around with Warship Craft for a little bit, so... Alright, there's that. Now, you know how I said, like, I think there were going to be a couple of things that I didn't like about it? Well, now you're going to know. Go on. Whoa, no. There. Here we go. Alright, let's just name this... Test bed. Done. Now, on to the weaponry. I do like the fact that Jaisong Park, I need you to pay very close attention. Are you listening? Are you sat comfortably, please? Are you ready to actually listen to me, please? Because I am unfortunately or fortunately one of the more renowned Warship Craft players. Are you ready? Fantastic. Okay, let's start with this one. This one is actually Chinese, which I am kind of happy to hear that this is one of the first Chinese weapons added into the game. This is the 130mm 58 Type 76. This is actually, believe it or not, a secondary weapon. Let's take a look at it. Weight is he's 10.3 tons. Volume is 9.3 meters. The density is 18.8 grams per centimeters cubed. Armor is 100 megajoules. Toughness 100 megajoules. Firing range 13.5 clicks, which is astonishingly good for a secondary. Reload rate of 4 seconds, amazing for a secondary.
Firepower of 303.2 megajoules, an explosion radius of 5 meters, and a strength of 151.6 megawatts. Not bad for a secondary. I mean, let's take a look at it right now. I'm going to add 2. Let's make it a little bit level. Excellent. Alright, anyways, even though they are slightly off, who cares? Alright, so taking a look at it. Oops, not what I wanted to do, but okay. Alright, so if you take a look at it, it kind of is like, it's like an improved United States 5-inch gun. I mean, like, really good power, excellent range, powerful for its types. And I did that because of the fact that I did not want to waste any of my money, because I'm saving up for a lot of other projects. Alright, now on to the other weapon. And I'm really happy that they added another Italian weapon. This one right here, the 381mm 50 model 1934. For those of you whom are history buffs, if you take a close look at it, this is actually what was mounted on I forget how to pronounce it, but I do know one of the class, Vittorio something in class, but the Roma had this because it's a lot more famous because it was sunk by the Fritz X guided rockets with those Do 217s that actually got it in. Weight of 1,697.9 tons, volume of 388.9 meters, density of 4.3 grams per centimeters cubed. How the hell does that work in comparison to the other weaponry again? Armor is 1,000 megajoules, toughness is 1,200 megajoules, firing range is 100, that'd be a missile. 21.1 clicks away, shooting interval 46 seconds, firepower of 2,256.6 megajoules, explosion radius of 10 meters, and a strength of 147.2 megawatts. That's what I don't understand, the shooting interval. Alright, let's make a comparison quickly. 46-second reload rate, 46-second reload time on this. Let me make something clear. Yamato fires faster than that. 40-second reload rate. Realistically, Yamato's guns would have taken over a minute to reload. But then again, if you also take a look at it, Yamato's guns were so powerful and they had such a big, long range at the time, and Japanese rangefinders weren't as accurate at the time, so they actually had to have a Mitsubishi FM-1 scout plane actually relay targeting coordinates. But I find it peculiar, the fact that this actually fires slower than Yamato. On the contrary, though, it's a relatively decent addition. And I like the fact that they actually added these little rafts, because realistically they would have had those, but only on a few turrets, not all of them. It has a decent firing range. I mean, if you take a look at some of the other ones of its type. I'm scrolling down here because my iPhone's laggy a little bit, because it's an iPhone 4. Alright, so 21 clicks. 20.1 clicks, 21.1, which makes it, oddly enough, slightly longer firing range than Yamato. Some of this stuff doesn't make any sense, but some of these kids, but some of the littler kids that play it like it. Now, on to the aircraft. I was never able to make a video of this, but now I can. The Yokosuka D4 or Y1 Suisei, otherwise known as the Allied Call Code Judy. Slightly more expensive than all the other bombers, but Judys were known to be a fast dive bomber, so now this is known to be arguably the fastest dive bomber in the game. So, hooray for us, actually. And the F6 and the Grumman F6F Hellcat, the successor to the F4F Wildcat, armament includes 6 beautiful 50 caliber M2 machine guns. Even though people when did the review of this and said, "Oh God, a Hellcat and a Judy," I was jumping up and down because of the fact that, one, I'm a history buff, and two, now that the Hellcat's in the game, this is now the second most powerful fighter in the game, second only to the Corsair in terms of balanced. If you're looking for firepower, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Zero, which, where is it? There it is, the Zero. But I would actually recommend the Messerschmitt Bf-109. Now, I'm talking about some of the other stuff. Alright. Jiangsong Park, or however the hell you pronounce it. I'm sorry. Yeah, but just a quick tidbit. Germany never built, the Kriegsmarine never had an aircraft carrier. It was Project Z, but it was never completed because of the fact that Hitler actually was enraged at the fact that Bismarck's loss actually cost them one of Germany's finest battleships. So as a result, the project, stupid as Hitler was, they canceled the project for an aircraft carrier. So, while we can assume that they still have a 109 in here, 109E3 to be exact, I can actually say that why not add some other aircraft? Like what I'm thinking is the Douglas AD-2 Skyraider. I'm also thinking the Wyvern S4 if you already have Spitfires in here. And what the hell? Well, let's just make it a 100,000 gold. Come on. If you already have the Sup with Pup, put a Swordfish in there. God's sakes. Swordfish for the win. Hashtag Baron Von Games, spam the torpedoes. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, if you want to add some other German planes, the Focke-Wulf FW-190 would be an excellent addition. Because the fact that it was tough, it was powerful, it was fast, and it packed a very powerful punch. So that's out of the way. If you were wanting to add some more bombers, I would say the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka D5. Yeah, the D5 version. And because it had two 20mm cannons, and it had a rear-facing rear gunner, which had two 7.92mm machine guns. Now that I think about that, though, why not actually add a mechanism that some of these dive bombers can defend themselves? Like, I know the Achi D3A Val had a back-facing 7.9mm machine gun, and I know the Dauntless had a rear-facing dual 7mm machine gun. So why not add something like that? The Judy never had that, though, because it was just, otherwise it would have reduced its speed. But now that it can be discerned from decorations and stuff like that, what I really want to see is, one, the fact that the flagpoles can actually connect to the naval ensign, because now that I have that, it won't actually get on it, hint, because of what Navalcraft can do a little bit. And add more than just this, or this, or this, to enhance the shooting accuracies of stuff. And this main destroyer main mast, I'm not saying that it's biased, but I have observed that in Battleship Craft and Warship Craft, they only had this mast, unless in Battleship Craft you had some of the hacks, because of the fact that, since I would assume Jiangsong Park is actually headquartered in an Asian country, that this is actually they have one of the only main masts as destroyers for modern times. Am I saying that to be stereotypical and stuff like that? Of course not, no. But if you really want to add some stuff, here's what you might want to add. You might want to add some of the World War II radars. One of the things that I really want to see added is some of the spinning radar dishes. That would be awesome. An Arleigh Burke destroyer main mast. That would be nice to add. The Spy 1 radar hull being a 6 crystal item, that's just outrageous, man. I'm sorry. Alright, for weaponry, AK-630, amazing, but actually add some of the sound effects. Some other people I've heard complain of the fact that the Phalanx has a firing sound effect. Why not add the AK-630s? Alright, so, now that's out of the way, what's next? Next on my wish list. Yeah, some other weaponry. There were much larger guns than Yamatos that were planned. They were never built. But for God's sakes. Well, hang on a second. The Germans never had BF-109s in their aircraft carrier fleets. Some of these guns actually were thought of but were never built. So, for God's sakes, actually add some other heavier guns like the H-44s. I know that'd be a lot. I would at least, actually because of the H-44's supposed power, I would assume that if you were to add that at Jiangsong Park, it would actually make it at least a crystal because of its power and its toughness. The missile systems, yes. You have the vertical launching system of the Tomahawk, and you have the RGM-84 harpoons. Excellent work. Now, I've got a better idea as well. Add some other missile systems that they have. Like, I know you have a little bit of Russian stuff in here, Japanese rocket systems. If you're wanting to add some more weaponry, one of them that I would actually add, really famous one, the Katyusha rocket systems. And I would also add a couple of other CWIS systems, like the Goalkeeper CWIS is a really good one to add. Add some other Chinese and whatnot, missile systems and whatnot. So, yeah. What was next on my wish list? Yes! Hang on a sec. I know I said it was going to be a gameplay. I'll be back with the gameplay a little bit if this loads. Which it will, eventually. Come on, you piece of shit, load. Thank you. Alright. Other things that I want to see added. Alright, so. Let's see what we got here. We got Bismarck, we got King George V, we got the Scharnhorst, we got North Carolina, we got the Vanguard, we got the Nelson, we got the Iowa, we got the Yamato, we got the Soryu, the Unterseeboot, Type 7 U-boat, you got the USS Enterprise, CV-6, and Shinano. That was a mouthful. Okay, of all those ships, here are the ones that you face. Not this one, not the Bismarck, not the King George V, not the Scharnhorst, not the USS North Carolina, not the HMS Vanguard, not the HMS Nelson, not the USS Iowa, and that's about it. Why can't you add a level where we can face Iowa, Nelson, Vanguard, North Carolina, Scharnhorst, Bismarck, King George V, and Mikasa? But we don't really care about Mikasa too much. That's because it didn't play too much of a role in the Battle of Tsushima because of the fact that the Russians absolutely whooped ass. So, now that that's out of the way, also add some modern levels. Like, for example, we've got all of this stuff. Like, look at this. I've got a cruiser. A missile cruiser. Why can't we add, if you've got missiles and CWIS in the game, make a level that we can actually use missiles and stuff like that, where it'll actually be shot down and stuff like that to add a little bit of a spice to this game. Please. I mean, I'm not the only YouTuber that wants that, and I know I'm not the only Warship Craft gamer that wants that either. Like, for example, well, I will actually do a quick level for some of the stuff of which I would desire. Let's make it Enterprise because it's short, it's sweet, and it's fast. Aegis. Alright, so in addition to that, why not add a couple of other anti-aircraft guns as well and make them a little bit tougher? Like the 40mm quad would be an excellent addition. Let's jettison. Wait, no, not jettison my mines quickly. I'm gonna fire off all my Tomahawks. Come on. I hate when it actually doesn't, like, register for, like, the missile firing. Now I can jettison my mines to make myself a less explosive target. Also, I've gotten kind of, like, bored of, like, the lame sound effects, which is why I wanted to do this, because the fact that I don't necessarily like just the same old sound effects that Battleship Craft had. Also, this snapping sound of the Mark 45... what happened to Battleship Craft's thunderous one? That one would instill fear in people. People would say, oh god, a Mark 45. Now and this is just like, oh, it just sounds like this. That's not lame. Well, that is lame. That's completely lame. Let's see what we got. Now I'm just going to let my CWIS smoke you guys. That is a good hit. Also, if you're actually wanting to add some other things for sound effects, no more of this lame anti-aircraft sound effects like that. Actually add a little bit more thunderous ones. Not just this one. Like, you can add this one, but also add a couple of additional ones for a little bit of thunderous effect. Get wrecked, mates! Get wrecked! Oh, right, I forgot. You were still afloat. I actually now have my naval ensign as well become a Decepticon. What happened to it? Damn fighters. They would have looked so cool if you had gotten to see it. But now you guys can't. I'm sorry. Alright, now that some of those threats are out of the way, let's turn to this. Let's do a moderate rudder to the right, to starboard, and moderate starboard rudder, and fire off some harpoons. Hope we can get some hits. Alright, all harpoons are away from that missile system. Alright, there goes Enterprise. Soon to be followed along with... What?! I thought the ANSPG was supposed to actually help you with some of the... Ugh. Good, right there. Fire all. Oh, God. Anyways, that would have actually... Also, oh, I nearly forgot. No, gimme. Let's just delete this. It's starting to annoy me. He used the test bed to its fullest extent. Notice how you see a little bit of the swastika right there. I kept that there for a reason. I like my things historically accurate. I know we've gotten to the age now that some of the smallest things will just irritate the hell out of somebody. And my response to that is, you can put up with that a little bit. It's not promoting Nazism. It's to actually have the option to actually make it so that it can be historically accurate. I mean, like, we have all these other artworks and history photos where you can actually see the swastika, and you don't see people yelling at that, now do ya? So, there's that. Yeah, then again, there could be a couple of touches, but then again, just keep some of the decorations that you add. If you have, I mean, like, I remember when I played World of Warships the one time, and well, I remember when I used to play it, they didn't have the rising sun flag for a long, long time. So there's that, and if you stand by, I will show you the list that I was talking about. Welcome back. Here it is. Alright, so here's my wish list. Call it that. A 50mm anti-aircraft gun from the Germans, the 20mm Oerlikon, the 40mm Bofor quad, the Warblewind 20mm quad, but you don't need the Warblewind turret, and the 37mm Ostwind. That'd be amazing. As I mentioned earlier, the Sky Raider, the Focke-Wulf, and the Helldiver. Now this is where it gets interesting. Modern aircraft you'd really enjoy seeing would be the Raptor, the Hawkeye, the Hornet, and the Super Hornet, Tomcat, Lightning II, the Flanker, the Barracuda, and the MiG-29. Those are what I know. I don't think the British have their own. Well, I think they have the Eurofighter. Helicopters, that'd be nice. The Seahawk, the Osprey, the Hind, and the Apache Longbow. I'd love to see the Hind and the Longbow because of the fact that it'd be nice to see Hellfires flying through the area. Decorations, as I mentioned earlier, the Arleigh Burke destroyer masts, modern bridges, ComSat radars, and spinning radar dishes. So, don't want to go too far down. New missile systems, 20-inch guns, and railguns. Soundtracks would be new anti-aircraft firing sounds accompanied with the ones that we currently have. And Battleship Craft Mark 45 5-inch firing sound, which I actually have the soundtrack right on here. So, new missions that I was talking about. A single versus an American modern aircraft carrier. Single versus a modern Russian aircraft carrier. You can choose up to 3 allied ships with this one. You can face a Russian carrier battle group. Same thing with an American carrier battle group. Single versus a German battleship. I was thinking something like either the Bismarck or the Prince Eugen, because of the fact that those are one of the two most known. If you can have a user-created Bismarck, something like my Tirpitz, that would be amazing. Versus a single Russian guided missile destroyer, something like a Nastakovy or a Sovereignty. An Arleigh Burke class destroyer. Versus a single allied ship versus a USS Iowa. 1980s missile battleship model would be really nice. You can choose up to 3 allied ships with this one. Versus a United States Navy, Russian Navy correlation carrier battle group, sort of like a RIM pack kind of thing. A single allied ship can be chose. up to, well, in Airbase 3, and the airbase would actually sortie jets to meet the player, and the airbase would have CWIS and missile systems. Since we already have submarines, I mean, like, why not make some other ones? Versus an Oscar II class submarine. You can only use one ship with that, single one. This one would be really nice. Versus the battleship Imperator Nikolai I. You can look that one up on your own time. Versus, you can choose a single versus the Vanguard and the Nelson. And I don't have the Iowa down here because I had already had it up there with the 1980s missile battleship renovation. And up to 2 allied ships can be chosen. The HMS Nelson, Vanguard, Yamato, and Iowa. Not the 1980s version, though, of this Iowa, though. I mean, like, if you like what you see, put it in the comments below. Destroy the like button, although don't destroy your computer in the process. That would be terrible for you. And I thank you for joining this. If you don't know what some of these are, and you claim I went through some of those too fast, you can always, you're smart. I'm sure you guys are intelligent enough. You can pause the video whenever you like. Then you can say, okay, this is that. I want to look that up, please. So, yeah. But my favorites that I would want to see would be definitely the Focke-Wulf. Right, variants. I would choose the A5 version of the Focke-Wulf because that would be powerful. And don't make it like 0.9 click firing range. Make it at least 1.3. I would love to see the Raptor. I'd love to see the Su-47. That's actually one of my favorite planes, and I'd love to see the Apache as well. And as well as this Battleship Craft's Mark 45 5-inch firing sound would be nice. So if you'd hang on just a second, I will get that. You don't see my phone here because of the fact that you're actually probably not going to be able to see it, but for those of you, memories. The memories of that game just resonate throughout here. I mean, that was just an amazing sound. Oh, cool. I'm sorry, you guys didn't hear it? I'm sorry. Yeah, that should probably do it for this video. This is going to be a long video for return. So, thank you again for tuning into this. I'm Starscream 7680, and I will see you next time. Thank you for all the support, Decepticons.